Because this is a very exciting space.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome.
I want to come back here anyway, so any excuse.
So we are currently at Performance Studios, and I never start my interviews or podcasts in any kind of formality.
Okay.
So we are currently at Performance Studios. They are one of the sponsors for the Logan Writers Festival, and they are letting us use their incredible podcasting space. And we are able to use this beautiful soundproof room with these amazing contraptions. And it's really exciting. I love it here. I think it's fantastic.
I feel the moment I walked in the doors, I was like, this is home. I want to sleep here. I want to live here.
It's very easy to spend a good 12 hours here, and they've even got the balcony out the back for some sunlight, because if you stay in the podcasting room that has no windows in for too long, you probably will turn into a cave goblin. So I'm with Angus Brennan today, and he is going to be doing a workshop at the 2022 Logan Writers Festival. That means that we all get to learn how to be voice actors just like him.
That's right. I mean, that's the goal anyway, I suppose. If I do my job well, you will come out knowing how to be a voice actor, yeah.
It's so exciting to be able to utilize your voice in a way that's powerful. It's something that they teach here very frequently, but I loved how much enthusiasm you had for your job and the type of work that you do. When did you get started?
I started when I was 12.
No way.
Yeah.
What was your first gig?
So my first official voiceover gig was an audiobook for kidney dialysis treatment, because we had a friend who lived like a block away from us in Hervey Bay, which is where I grew up, who was doing her master's, and she needed to do like an audiobook thing for it. So I got to voice it.
That's crazy.
And here I was, my voice was like cracking and breaking and stuff, but it was my first official voiceover gig.
So you were 12 when you did that?
I think it was a little older. I was 12 when I started radio announcing, which is like where I first started using my voice. Yeah.
Oh, that's very exciting. So what station were you on?
I was on Fraser Coast FM up in Hervey Bay.
Fraser Coast FM. Yeah. That's very cool. Now, do you still have those original recordings?
I wish I had more. I think the earliest recording I've got, or the oldest recording I've got, was from 2013.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. It's so cringy.
You know what? I think everyone feels that way about their art. Tell me more. I'm hanging for this.
It's just a recording of the radio show, and the co-host I had, a good friend of mine, Aisha, we used to just squabble on the radio, and like people in the community loved it, because we had this we were at each other all the time. I was picking up on her saying a word wrong or something, and it's just so
it's
silly.
Like siblings.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was, yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. I feel like a lot of people are gravitating towards that these days with how popular podcasts are becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to speak well on a podcast is something a lot of authors need to be able to do, because podcasting is a great way of marketing your books and also tapping into someone else's audience. But being organic when you're in that interview space is so important. And so you clearly mastered that, being able to banter with your co-star on the radio show.
Totally. Like, the voice is the most powerful instrument we have, right? It's the way we communicate every day with everyone we meet. And having the confidence, knowing how to use it as an instrument, you can master the voice as if it's a flute or a recorder or, a set of drums. And a lot of people don't realize that the power it has and the amount of confidence you can gain from just knowing how to hold a conversation and speak clearly and, fluently.
Yeah, and you don't have to sound poncy to do it either. Yeah. You don't have to speak the Queen's English to enunciate your words properly. I used to do singing lessons when I was like 13, and that was something that my singing teacher drilled into me. She was like, Rhiannon, please use your P's. I still don't think I do. So what would you say is the most important things that people can learn when they're starting to do any kind of voice acting? And this can be for audiobooks, this can be for their YouTube channels, podcasts, like across the board. What are the most important tips and tricks that you have for authors?
Great question. Oh, that's so broad.
I know, right? I know. The generalization.
Okay. Don't be afraid to speak to yourself, like read to yourself. The more you read, the better you will become at reading.
I like that. I like that a lot.
You can only get better. That's the amazing thing about voiceover, about reading, about script writing. You can only get better. Of course, unless you are fully illiterate, but
You know what? I feel like an illiterate person could do it, but I don't think an arrogant person could do it.
There you go. Yeah.
Emotionally illiterate.
What else have I got? Okay, when you're in voiceover, when you're doing an audiobook for someone, say for example, you get into the industry like that, it's not about you. I like to think my voice is my product. When I get booked for something, it's not because they know who I am or what I'm about, right? It's because my voice is appealing to them in some way, which means there's no real ego thing there. It's not because I'm famous or I mean something. It's just because my voice is, I've taken the time to master it, and it sounds good to them. Excellent. So remove yourself from your voice. Your voice is your product. Your voice is your service.
Beautiful. Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah.
Removing ego out of anything is something I think can benefit all artists. There's a place for it during the creation, but then after that, you don't, it wasn't you that made it, essentially. It came through you rather than from you.
I really like authors who use pseudonyms for that reason, because I think that's the easiest way to separate yourself from your art and separate that ego is going, I didn't write that book, but my author did. The character that I've built.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that as well. And you could give them a different voice as well, if you wanted to go full anonymity.
That's right.
There's a lot of romance authors and erotica authors that do things like that, especially if they have a branch of children's books. It's so common that they tend to write both, and then they really don't want those streams to cross.
And fair enough.
It's bad marketing if those streams cross. So what are you doing at the moment? So what's your work life like at the moment? Because the Writers' Festival is conducted by the Chamber of Commerce. And so for me, the entire festival is about helping authors create sustainable businesses, something that they can thrive off. And that goes for all artists. So what's your business looking like at the moment?
So I have built ABVO Brisbane, which is my voiceover business, and I also do voice coaching. So I make it work between being a full-time voice artist, on call for that because it's gig-based,
yep.
And then also booking in voiceover coaching students. So these are students who want to improve their speaking, improve their reading, and also potentially make it as a freelance voiceover artist. And I'm really blessed to have made this work as a full-time job for 4 years.
That's amazing.
I had a new student today who was like, how long have you been doing this? And I'm like, 4 years, full-time. And he was like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, that's a long time.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
And are you based in Brisbane?
I am.
But you're pretty mobile, aren't you? You came all the way down to Logan to see us today.
Oh, it's nothing. I love driving, and I've got a banner on the back of my car as well. So anytime I drive, I'm advertising the business.
Oh, excellent. Do you have any staff or anyone that you have work under you? It's just all you?
Just me. Yep. I do the whole business running, client relations, everything. I sometimes work with other voice talent and contract out to them and things like that. Also, I've worked with a social media managing group as well, because social media is my weak link in running the business. I've got all of these great ideas, but I never seem to sit down and nut them out and film the video and edit the video and stuff.
The editing the video is always what stops me. I will film the video, I will sit there and I will be all rambly and I'll just edit that later. And instead of having it nice and streamlined, it's got a bunch of janky bits in it, or the cat jumps in it. And then
cat, yes.
Yeah, or the cat knocks over the ring light, and then you think, okay, no, that's okay. It can keep filming. I'll just go and edit that later, and then it never happens. I think I have a whole terabyte of footage I've just
Yeah.
never edited.
For me, it's like I'll have an idea, I'll sit on this idea for months and like try to talk myself out of it, go, oh, it's not good. And then all of a sudden, one day will come, I'll wake up and I'll feel intensely motivated and get like 3 videos done and post them all and then find another 2 months where I do nothing. So,
Yes. Yeah. It's like a big wave of inspiration
Actually,
and energy and then nothing.
But it does come. It does come eventually.
Yes. So where do people find you on social media? So that they can help encourage you to post regularly.
Yeah, please. Yeah, if I have more followers, maybe it'll help. So TikTok is the main one, and I've been really blessed by the algorithm.
Beautiful.
People have been lovely on there to me. So at Angus Brennan VO on TikTok, the same handle on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I also have the business at ABVO Brisbane. That's for more polished content.
Yep.
When I get around to making it, of course. And I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and things like that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what are some of the most interesting pieces of work that you've done in the past?
Oh, I always come back to this one as my favorite. I got to voice an animated condom, actually.
That's brilliant.
It was so good.
Wait, what was it for?
It was for New South Wales Health, actually. It was a full-on, yeah. And it was supposed to look like it was sort of follower-created content, I guess. Like, it wasn't super polished.
Yeah.
So I got to be like, hey, did you know you can fit, like, 10 oranges in me? Like, sort of like that. And it was just like a one-take thing because I didn't want it polished at all. Yeah. And the video is amazing. It's up on my TikTok if anyone wants to find it. So
that sounds brilliant.
But
oh my gosh.
The most fun voiceovers are the ones that I get given the creativity. They send me the script and they're like, we want you to just do your thing. Yeah. Just have fun with it and make up characters and whatever. And not enough voiceover jobs are like that.
No.
When they come around, they're so much fun.
It's particularly, I feel like with authors in particular, it's very strict. They have a very clear idea of their characters and how they want the story paced. But I remember when I got my audiobook done, the woman that helped me with that, she had so much more technical knowledge and she'd done like TV and movie voiceover stuff. And audiobook was still really different for her. And the spacing between the sentences and the cadence and understanding that when you are in character, that it's very separate from being narrator.
Oh, yeah.
But the narrator parts relate back to which character they're in reference to. So it's like if you've got 2 characters speaking in a scene, there's actually 4 voices. There's character 1, then there's narrator of character 1. Then there's character 2 and narrator of character 2. And finding those nuances is something that a lot of people don't realize is important, and it really breaks you out of the story if it's suddenly, here's character 1, suddenly only narrator. And it's very empty and very kind of jarring to not have that smooth flow in between the characters.
Totally. It's one of those things for me. Like I sometimes with my voiceover coaching students, I put a script in front of them that's like an audiobook. And I'm like, to me, when I read it, naturally shift between the narrator and the person and the character speaking. When I hand it to them, they're like, whoa, like they don't know where to switch and the nuances in the voice and stuff. So starting voice coaching has made me appreciate just how much skill it does take to do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always highly recommend anyone getting their audiobooks done goes to a proper voice actor for it, because someone might have a really nice voice, but it is those nuances. It is that extended practice and also the aspects that you forget when you become the master. So when you become the master of it, you forget that that is a natural progression that people still have to do. And when you're the amateur or when you're the novice, you are hyper fixated on those parts and it still sounds janky.
There's this principle, I don't remember the name of it, but it's like when you get to a certain part in mastery, you realize how little you actually know. So when you start out, you think you know a lot. As you get better and you do know more, you think you know less because you're like so aware of how much more there is to learn.
It's the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you get to that mastery level, you think that everyone else clearly knows everything that you know. Like everything that you know as a master that's just general knowledge, and it's not.
And that's one part of this voiceover coaching that's just been like, it's amazed me. I mean, you know, as I said, it's not about me, but how much I know in the industry, how much of an expert I am. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for coming today, Angus.
It's all right.
I feel like you are going to get a whole bunch of people now that are very fascinated in your talk. And the day that Angus will be presenting is on the 9th, which is the Friday. So if you have students in Logan, so anyone high school age, you are welcome to come down to the Logan Writers Festival, and you can also do Angus's hour-and-a-half workshop. It's going to be thrilling. We've got you on the balcony. Yay. So that you can be very loud and scare all the birds out of the trees if you want to.
Fantastic. Yes, I will bring some scripts where I get to like swing a sword and things like that.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I can't wait to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we look forward to seeing you on the 9th and 10th of September for the Logan Writers Festival 2022.
See you there.
Actually, P.S.
Oh.
The Logan Writers Festival this year is based around growth and resilience. What would you say, as a finishing note, what would you say was the biggest aspect of growth and resilience for you as a voice actor?
Sticking with it through the hard times. It's a very up and down industry. Like even in this past 2 weeks, I've done maybe 1 or 2 voiceovers, and I'm honest about that to my students, because it's important that even through the lulls, you continue learning, you continue growing and staying resilient, you know, not just throwing your hands up in the air and giving up. So that's not what this is about. You know, you've got to be able to audition for 100 gigs and get sometimes none. It's a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to build the resilience to not take it personally.
Totally.
I think it's the same with authors. You can spit your manuscript out at so many publishers over and over and over again and get rejected constantly.
Yep.
And I think it also makes authors aware that when you have voice actors auditioning for your audiobook, to be kind about why they weren't selected and be honest. I think that's really important. But yeah, growth and resilience is incredible across the board in the arts. Like, I have not 100%. Met more resilient people, and thank you for sharing that.
That's all right. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. This was an absolute pleasure, and we will catch up again very soon.